America, what have you done to me? You have completely changed my perception of the world.
Americans, thank you for treating my daughter well.
First of all, people. They have been so amazing to me.
Everybody is not only very chatty, but very complimentary as well.
For years, Europeans heard the same story about America. Too loud, too commercial, too chaotic, too obsessed with money. So when they arrived in America, many expected the worst. But then something strange happened. A stranger helped them. A waiter actually cared. Someone gave them directions and didn't just point down the street. They walked them there. And suddenly, one thought kept coming back. Why does this feel more human than home? Because sometimes the biggest culture shock isn't what a country does differently, it's how it makes you feel.
America, what have you done to me? You have completely changed my perception of the world in the best way possible. After traveling around the US for many, many weeks in an RV, I saw some of the most beautiful sights I have ever seen in my whole entire life, okay? Like, I was mesmerized the whole time. I had the time.
America didn't make them feel like a number. Imagine walking into a restaurant in Europe and simply asking for help. You might get the answer. Short, efficient, done. In America, that same question can turn into a 5-minute conversation. Where are you headed? Oh, you're visiting from Germany. Welcome. First time here? You've got to try this place. And before you know it, the person helping you has recommended a restaurant, drawn directions on a receipt, warned you about traffic, and probably asked how you're enjoying America. That's the difference.
Okay, so here's my quick first impression on living in the US. I arrived to LA exactly a week ago, and this is my experience so far. First of all, people. They have been so amazing to me. Like, they're so kind, open, generous, and just there's this really positive energy overall that I really love about people.
American service isn't just about completing the transaction. It's about making the person feel noticed. As Americans like to say, how can I help? Not, that's not my problem. Of course, America has terrible customer service too, let's be real. Americans have enough customer service horror stories to fill an airport terminal. But when things go right, the experience can be surprisingly personal. A confused tourist doesn't necessarily feel like an inconvenience. They feel like someone who needs a hand. And that small difference can hit harder than expected because nobody wants to feel like a number. They want to feel human. Then they discovered something else: space. Europe has incredible cities: Paris, Rome, London, Amsterdam. But many of these places were built centuries before SUVs, massive stadiums, giant shopping centers, and millions of tourists existed. America developed differently. Everything seems to have room. Wider roads, huge parking lots, massive supermarkets, big stadiums, big restaurants, big portions, and yes, big drinks. One European visitor might look at an American soda and say, that's not a drink, that's a swimming pool. But underneath the jokes is something deeper. Space reduces friction. You can walk into a stadium with a family, bags, wheelchairs, children, food, and enough souvenirs to start your own gift shop, and there's usually somewhere for all of it to go. You don't constantly feel like you're squeezing yourself into someone else's space. And after experiencing that freedom, something surprising happens. You start liking it.
First impressions of America from a Scottish girl living in Amsterdam who's never visited America before. Cars are absolutely massive. My Apple Pay does not work here, so I've had to use my credit card. Everybody is not only very chatty, but very complimentary as well.
Then America does something Europeans don't expect. It lets you belong quickly. You can walk into an American sports bar knowing absolutely nobody. 10 minutes later, someone is explaining the game to you. 20 minutes later, you're arguing about the referee. 30 minutes later, somebody says, "You want another one?" That's America. A stranger can become a temporary friend remarkably fast. At a tailgate, nobody necessarily cares where your grandparents were born. At a neighborhood event, you don't need a 20-year history with the community. You just show up. And Americans have a saying, the more, the merrier. That attitude can be incredibly powerful for someone who has spent years feeling like an outsider. Europe has deep traditions and strong communities, but those communities can sometimes take time to enter. America often says, "Come on in." First, questions later. And then comes the biggest surprise, starting over. This may be one of America's most powerful cultural ideas. You can start over. Lost your job? Start again. Want to change careers at 40? Go for it. Moving across the country? People barely blink. Want to open a business? Someone will probably tell you, just go for it. America has a culture built around reinvention. You aren't necessarily trapped by the person you were 10 years ago. Your past matters, but Americans tend to ask, what's next? And that can feel incredibly liberating. A European visitor may arrive expecting Americans to be obsessed with success. Instead, they discover something more interesting. Americans are often obsessed with possibility. The possibility that your next chapter can be completely different from your last one.
My dad has a message for the USA.
Americans, thank you for treating my daughter well and making the trip of her life. She keeps telling me how everyone was friendly and no one discriminated about her height. Any American is welcome in my house.
And then they notice who gets included. At a major American event, accessibility isn't supposed to be an afterthought. Ramps, elevators, accessible seating, wider entrances, accessible restrooms. The idea is simple. You shouldn't have to ask permission to participate. America certainly has accessibility problems. Nobody should pretend otherwise. But the underlying expectation is powerful. Public life should make room for different people. And that doesn't only help wheelchair users, it helps parents with strollers, older people, injured travelers, people carrying luggage, basically anyone whose knees have started filing complaints after 3 days of sightseeing. Then something even more unexpected happens. Americans compliment you. A lot. You did a good job? Great job! Nice jacket? Love the jacket. You tried speaking English? Your English is really good. To some Europeans, this can initially feel exaggerated, but eventually they understand something. The praise isn't always about being perfect, it's about encouragement. Americans often celebrate people while they're still trying, and that can change how a person feels, because being noticed feels good, being welcomed feels good, being encouraged feels good, and suddenly the country they were warned about doesn't look quite so frightening. So what really shocked them? Maybe it wasn't the skyscrapers, not the highways, not the giant stadiums, not the enormous portions of food. It was something much simpler. They were treated like people. A stranger stopped, a worker listened, a community made room. Someone said, welcome. Someone else said, you got this. And somewhere along the way, the European visitor who came expecting America to feel cold began wondering, maybe I don't want to go home yet. Because the real American surprise isn't that everything is bigger, it's that sometimes the circle is bigger too. And when a country makes room for you before you've even earned a place inside it, that's a feeling people don't forget. And that's when a vacation can turn into something much more dangerous. You start thinking about staying.